This is Brian Anderson. He didn't actually slam to get that black eye. He got that from Spike Jones at Ty Evans' wedding, funnily enough. It was a game they liked to play at the time called Punch Your Mate in the Face. And yeah, this is about a week after, so he's got a pretty good shiner, and you can see he's got a little cut under his eye, but I don't know, shits and giggles.
Yeah.
This is Master Shine. This is a guy I met in the airport in Atlanta when I was flying to Puerto Rico with Jamie Thomas, Adrian Lopez, and Chris Cole. This is would have been a circuit trip back then. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy I just got talking to in the airport, and he'd been there for about 30 years, I think.
Wow.
And yeah, he shined shoes, and he was a cool dude, and he didn't mind. I said, hey, look, do you mind if I take a picture? And
how you lose his eye?
You know what? He never told me. He never told me. Maybe Spike Jones punched him in the eye at a wedding. This is Keith Huffnagel catching a free ride off a taxi in New York City back in 1997, the first time I ever went there. I was actually on a Zero tour with Jamie and the guys again, Wade Burkett, some other people, Eric Ellington. And yeah, it was just the first time I ever went to New York, so trying to keep up with him, catching a ride in a taxi cab. And that's headed straight down Broadway, and you could see the DKNY sign. That's Houston Street, so back when Huff was on DC. This is, again, Mr. Anthony Pappalardo down on the South Street Seaport. I think it's around about Water Street, somewhere around there. And just a late afternoon in New York, long shadows, and I just liked all the lines, and he was sessioning a spot down there, so I just kind of shot that from up top while he was pushing along. This is the Wild Ride again. Spanky, Chase and Heath, middle of Indianapolis, Indiana somewhere. Yeah, these guys are just... Spanky had never ridden a bike before, and he just took to it like a duck to water, and he's probably doing about 85 miles an hour right there. Just a little guy, but he can certainly ride a bike, that's for sure. This is Bobby Pouliot in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, about 3 months before September 11th. Mm-hmm. So that's June 2001. And that was, it was called Skanky Land. It was out in like Greenpoint, Williamsburg area of Brooklyn. It was just an old abandoned lot, and a bunch of skaters like Rich Charnowski and a couple other guys, they built all those quarter pipes, Rob Erickson, a few others. So it was just the old days of do-it-yourself where you could actually still build stuff on the street. It's probably a lot harder to do that now just because of the way things are. And yeah, that's classic Pouliot, skating a homemade spot, and then just happened to have a good angle back towards Manhattan where the World Trade Center is. This is another shot of New York, September 12th, the day after the World Trade Center came down, and you got from left to right Jeff Pang in the middle, Todd Jordan on the left, Sean Kelly on the right, John Carter, Spencer Fujimoto in the background, a couple other guys. And that's skating down Broadway at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the 12th of September, which is the day after the World Trade Center fell down. And normally Broadway is filled with cars, but if you can zoom into the back there, you'll see there's just really only one truck on Broadway. And it was just a really eerie feeling in the city that day because people were pretty shook from everything that happened the day before, and we'd all been sitting around in our apartments freaking out, like, what's going on? And I mean, you know, as cliche as it sounds, the most logical thing to do is like get out and have a skate and just try and release some of the tension. And so that's all those guys coming down. We're trying to skate down towards there, and yeah, I don't know, I just feel like that photo captured a little bit of the stress and the anxiety and just the atmosphere that was going on in the city that day, but also that they're still pushing really hard and defiant and strong. And I don't know, it's a really powerful picture for me because I remember that day like it was yesterday. Alright, coming around here, this is a group portrait I shot out in Cincinnati in 2004 again of Beautiful Losers, and a bunch of big name artists in there. Stesic all the way in the back on the left, Shepard Fairey, Glennie Friedman, Thomas Campbell, Tobin Yellen, Phil Frost, Chris Johansson, Twist, Espo, Anna Rose, the guy that put it all together. Ed Templeton's there, Deanna Templeton. This is Jeff McFetridge. No.
Tobin, right? Isn't it?
No, Tobin's there. Stesic, Cheryl Dunn, Joe Jackson. Anyway, a whole bunch of people. There's too many to name right now. Actually, that's Ryan McGuinness, not Jeff McFetridge. Anyway. So that was a portrait that I shot at the end of the 3-day opening of the Beautiful Losers exhibition. And basically just grabbing a whole bunch of artists and pushing them in a straight line for about 10 minutes so I could get a couple of frames. But yeah, there's a lot of big names in there, talented people. They're all really cool, and it was cool just to get them to stand still for 5 minutes literally to get that photo.
Not easy, right?
Not easy at all.